Hello and welcome to this episode of the Artist Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Goslow, and thank you for joining me today for this special episode. I, of course, hope that every episode is special, but I especially wanted to record this today. I'm sitting here in Sacramento, California. It is July 4th, Independence Day. I was inspired to make this recording today. So today, what I want to talk to you about is your independence. Now, if you're listening to this, you are a creative being to the core. Somewhere deep inside of you, you know that what you are about is expression and creativity, and I want to talk about that. When we live this life, we are encouraged from day one to conform to other people's idea of who we need to be and what is okay and how we're supposed to live in this life. That training goes counter to our individual creative nature and our individual expression of who we are. If you are lucky or just incredibly stubborn, you will forge a life where you don't give up your own individuality. And even then, we have to sometimes probably make compromises. But if you're lucky or if you're incredibly stubborn, you will hold tight to your individuality. And that's what I want to encourage right here in this discussion, is the importance of being yourself. The world doesn't need more copycats. The world doesn't need more imitators. The world doesn't need more people doing what everyone else does. The world needs individuals. It needs people who do what they do and be their own self. And as an artist, you are uniquely positioned to provide the world a valuable service that it needs, which is called individuality. I had an artist mentor a long time ago who said, "The artists are the individuals of society," and that's what this topic is about. You are an individual. You're not just some copycat. You're not. Now, I'm not knocking the other professions, but you're not just another plumber. You're not just another electrician. You're not just another athlete. You are not just another, engineer. These are all wonderful professions, and I am not in those professions, so I shouldn't really speak about them. But I just need to make the contrast that you are an artist, and the artists are uniquely unique. Okay, that's what makes us different. Okay, we have a vision. You have a vision. You have a way of expressing yourself. Maybe it's how you dress. Maybe it's how you talk. Maybe it's what you drive. Maybe it's what you do with your art. Maybe it's all of these. But you sort of lead the way. The artists are the ones, they start the new fashions. They start the new popular culture references and language and vernacular and slang and all these things that end up in the music and the movies and all this stuff that we follow, the trends, okay? The musical changes. As a musical artist, I know this well. It's the innovators. They lead the way. We're the visionaries. We change the world with our vision and our innovation. And I want to say, good. Let that be so. And if you believe in your heart that you also have something unique to give the world, then give it, show it, share it. Now, I also want to say that you don't know what's going to happen. You don't always know. You don't always know how we're going to make it. What exactly is going to work and what's going to carry us professionally forward and everything. But that's not really exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the willingness to be individual in the first place. Because if you follow your own path, you march to the beat of your own drum. You follow your own destiny. It'll take you in interesting places that will ultimately, I think, give you more happiness in life, because you'll be saying yes to yourself. You'll be going forward with plans that matter to you, and you'll be saying no to things that don't matter to you. Our time on this earth is finite. You want to use your life for something that means something to you. Excuse me if you hear any weird sounds in the background. It's the 4th of July, so there's a lot of people out. There's people upstairs, having a party of some sort. So don't mind that. Anyway, but when you follow your own path, you get to move towards your own unique artistic destiny. And that's something that no one is going to wake you up and say, hey, this is how you do it. Okay? As far as I know, in the medical profession, in the lawyer profession, in lots of professions, even the teacher profession, which I'm also in, there's sort of a path. It's like, this is what you do. You do it this way. This is how you can do it. And certainly we could say the same for being an artist in many senses, a skill, learning a trade, learning your art, learning the craft. There are ways to do it, of course. But as an artist, we don't always, some of us start out one art, we end up in another art. There's many artists, who did that, and the path is just not set in stone. Or you might end up teaching and start as, you might start as a waitress, end up as a director. All kinds of things, obviously, artist's path don't just take a straight line. And so that's how it was meant to be. That's what I'm saying. It's because you have to follow that individual line, whatever that is. It might be like a bee buzzing around, going left and going right, and then going backwards, and then going up and going down. What kind of line is that? Well, it will serve you if you're really truly doing you. You're going to evolve. Now, it may not be obvious to other people how you're evolving, but if you're following your instinct, your gut, your bliss, then you're following some inner path, I believe, that is set for you to follow. And if you are. If you're basically having fun, you're basically inspired by life, you basically feel like you're expressing yourself as an artist, then you're probably doing the things that I'm talking about here. And if not, I'm trying to encourage you to say yes to yourself, because no one else can do it for you. The beauty of being an artist is we get to fulfill what may be a mission inside of us to kind of basically forge our own path. We are the ultimate pioneers of the soul, perhaps, or the heart, or we excavate new territory that has never come before us, or that actually many have come before us, but we continue the process of innovation that all the other artists before us have taken on. And that process is sacred. It is a, religion in itself. And if you're on that path, no one else can tell you exactly what that process is going to require. No one else can tell you exactly what it's going to dictate. But you want to be going forward on that path. If this is resonating for you, then perhaps there's some part of you in your heart that is saying, yeah, this sounds right. And hopefully that's the case. And, another thing is that it just really is important that you break the bonds of needing to please others, or needing to be like others, or thinking you need other people's approval in order to be yourself. When you're being yourself, you will attract people who will like what you are about. I always have. The other artists I know always have. We just need to find our tribe. If you are in a situation where you are around people that don't support who you are, don't get who you are, don't offer much enthusiasm or encouragement for who you are, consider you're not around the right people. You haven't yet found your tribe. Now, there's nothing wrong with the world and the people in it, but that doesn't mean that you have to belong to people that don't serve you, who don't get you. I was sort of thinking of a phrase I heard a long time ago. You belong with people, but you don't belong to them. Okay? You have the right to mingle, be social, make relationships, go meet interesting people, but that doesn't mean you belong to them. They get to tell you how to be. They get to tell you how to dress. They get to tell you what art to make or what not to make or what to do for your job, etc. You are basically in a spiritual covenant with your higher self to create through your medium of expression, or media, plural, of expression, to channel thought force into your creativity. And that's a spiritual connection. I think that's a sacred pact with you and your higher self. You and Source, or the universe, or God, you could say. And I think that trumps everything else. And you can only follow that bliss or that calling if you tune out the other stuff. And you can only tune out the other stuff if you let yourself not have to play someone else's game. You basically have to march to your own drumbeat and learn to follow your own inner instinct. If this is resonating for you, then you know it. You know what I'm talking about. And by the way, I'm practicing what I preach here, because if this doesn't resonate with you, then this is not the podcast for you. This is not the recording for you. And you either just don't need this message, or many people are just not artists and it doesn't resonate for them. And I'm not saying that that's true for you, because I do believe that some messages are really just meant to be heard by certain people in certain places. So I would never be so arrogant to say I know whether you are an artist or not. But I can tell you this. In this world, there are many, many people who will not get this because they don't understand the artistic spirit. They don't understand these things I'm talking about. And therefore, they simply think things need to be a certain way, and that's fine for them, okay? Let them do what works for them, okay? If they found a box, they fit inside it, and it works. Great. Yet don't let their limited vision stop you, because we have work to do as individuals in this world to keep pushing the envelope of this human race. I mean, look around you. There's more to be done, and you get to do it. I'm not talking about doing something you don't want to do. I'm talking about following your heart's calling, being your true self, and following that instinct inside of you to do that work that only you can do, and we can only do it when we have the courage to follow that inner voice and innovate and experiment and try out and push forward with our inner dreams. So that, in conclusion, is something that I have thought about and just really pondered for a long time in my adulthood, especially as I have, every episode of my life has been essentially about this process. It's breaking the bonds of old approval-seeking behaviors or old withdrawals type survival behaviors that weren't working, that were suffocating my freedom, and choosing liberation, choosing freedom, choosing personal expression, choosing authenticity and honesty. Like I said in another episode, to thine own self be true. And that sort of thing is exactly what I'm talking about. And I hope it for you just as I hope it for myself. Let's move forward and be the artists we were meant to be. Thank you for listening.